Hey, what's going on YouTube? Alabama Reloader here. So in today's video, I'm just finishing up the results portion from the last round of testing in 280 Ackley Improved. This was the focus of that round of testing. So this bullet shot the best in that sort of initial hand load testing that I did with MP 620, Midwest Powder 620, and that combination with this bullet shot really well. And so then I just wanted to see, okay, this bullet with a whole lot of other powders, 7 different powders, how will it shoot? And finally got back to the range to finish out the last bit of testing. If you guys watched the last video on this, I was able to get everything shot except for the H4831 shortcut loads and the IMR 7977. So we're gonna take a look at those now. I've got all 60 pieces of brass here. They've been fired 3 times now, so they're all in a 3 times fired state. 180 rounds on the gun as it sits. I was planning on actually transitioning to testing some solid coppers on sort of my next round of testing for reloads and stuff, but I'm kind of thinking that I've only got 27 of these left, 27 of these ballistic tip bullets left, the 140s. I've got plenty of 150s and 160s, but I'm really thinking what I might do, since I have 27 of them left, is load up, I'm guessing all 27, I'm thinking, and I'll put a few back. I'll put a few back, probably load them all up with the Midwest Powder's MP 620 combo, that 59 grain charge that shot really well. It actually shot really well on a couple of different occasions. So I'm thinking about loading that combination back up, and maybe doing like a 10-shot group or a 20-shot group, and then just keep, put 7 off to the side and keep for next hunting season. Right, just kind of throw those off in the corner somewhere. So that's kind of my thought process now. I'm wanting to transition from focusing on the solid copper stuff, maybe, to just doing that, because I've only got 27 left, right? And I don't really see myself doing any other additional testing with this bullet in any other cartridge. So might as well just kind of burn up those 27. But that would leave me with kind of a weird round count on brass, and being in different stages of the process and all that. And I don't really want to do that. So I think I'm going to load these 27, and then the remainder will be loaded up with, or at least initially, this is what I'm thinking, maybe load the rest up with these 175 Federal Tip Fusion, these pulled bullets, because these shot really well also. If you go back and look at that with MP 620, these shot really, really well. So, and then also these shot well at 300 yards. So I went and just picked one of the random charges from that initial load development testing and shot this bullet at 300 yards, and it was like 2.1 inch group. I can't complain about that. That was great, right? And again, that was with my VX Freedom, my Leupold VX Freedom 3-9x50 scope. So yeah, I think that's the plan. I want to go back and shoot. What I would like to do is maybe shoot a larger sample size, maybe at distance, right? Maybe at 300 yards. My range that I can go out to 380, but maybe that's what I do, right? I think that's going to be my plan. 27 of these, so that'll leave us with whatever, 33 pieces of brass after we load these. So maybe load up 33 with these guys. I don't know. That's kind of my thought process, right? And then go out and shoot larger sample size groups. That way we can be cool like everybody else, and we can be like, oh man, now I feel better about myself, and I can build my self-esteem and my self-confidence because I'm shooting larger groups in terms of sample size, because that's what everyone tells me I need to do, right? So maybe we can just go be cool like everybody else, shoot large sample sizes for no reason whatsoever, but whatever, right? Maybe we'll do that. I'm thinking that's what we're gonna do. So here are the results. These are the results, everything, right? From the the testing and the point of impact shift that we've seen for this testing with these different powders is very interesting, or at least in my mind, it's very interesting, because we didn't really see this with MP620 testing multiple bullets. We didn't really see crazy point of impact shift like we're seeing testing one bullet with multiple powders. So, but this range right here, this is what we're focused on for this particular video. H4831 shortcut loads, and the velocities weren't anything really to write home about. Nothing impressive. I mean, and I didn't expect them to be. Again, I'm using Nosler's load data, well, and Hodgdon's load data for you know, my charge weights and what I was choosing, and I was starting, especially with the Nosler load data, which I believe I was able to use. I can't remember if they have H4831 shortcut or not in their load data. I think they do. But for the Nosler stuff, the data I pulled from the Nosler manual, I went over it. I was starting at the minimum charge and working my way up, right, toward the max. And Nosler's manual, they have a very narrow range of, you know, charge weight range to load within. So even starting at their minimum, you're not that far away from max, right? And I was jumping one grain increments. So, but H4831 shot pretty good, you know, 0.698. So those 3 shots there, these are 1/4 inch dots, by the way, that I'm shooting at. 0.698, 0.682. So you can already see we're shifting up a little bit and to the right, and then 0.897. So again, going a little bit. That might be one of those where if we continued on, right, we're starting to transition up higher on our point of impact shift. IMR 7977, 0.980, very similar situation. A little bit, obviously a much more dramatic shift in point of impact, 0.980, 1.113, and then way up here, 0.496. I was, when I shot this last group, you know, my point of aim was here. I was like, where'd that bullet go? It took me a second to realize, man, it shifted that much up and to the right, which made me worried, right? As soon as I saw that, I was like, oh man, this group's probably gonna be terrible, right? It's gonna be spread out all over the place. 1/2 inch group, all of them transitioned up, all 3, right? Transitioned up to that higher point of impact. So I just thought that was interesting that we saw, you know, kind of that dramatic of a point of impact shift. With N560, we didn't see kind of as dramatic, you know, similar situation with IMR 4350. Some of the powders that I tested with this bullet, you know, they weren't necessarily as dramatic like H4831 shortcut, but I mean, you can see Reloader 22, definitely, right? Just trend line going that way. Reloader 19, you know, same deal, very dramatic point of impact shift. So, but I think I'm gonna circle back with that MP620. Just had really good luck in that initial round of load development testing. So I think that's what I'm gonna go with on the follow-on stuff, which again, I do want to point out, just very, very interesting result that I got with Reloader 19, because MP620 is supposed to be very, very similar to Reloader 19. This is a 59 grain charge, and if you guys will go back and look, my 59 grain charge with MP620 shot just like that. Very interesting. Now velocities are different, but very interesting. So, but that's it. Those are the results. Again, nothing too crazy on the velocities. I think I was at like 2950 up to 3050. I don't think we even broke 3100 for any of these. IMR 7977, I might circle back and revisit this one simply because I don't have, I might revisit this with a different 140 grain bullet and sort of test this range again just to see if this will be a good powder in general, because I really don't have a lot of it left. I'd like to just kind of burn it up. It's probably maybe, it's definitely less than 1/2 pound that I have left with this particular powder. So, you know, and I've had it for years. I think I used it in, what was it, maybe 338 Lapua Mag, maybe. I can't remember. I don't even remember why I bought that powder. But that's the plan, I think. You guys know how this works, right? I come up with a plan, I talk about it, and then the next video you guys see, I'm like, well, the plan changed. So, but I think I'm kind of leaning strongly towards going that route, loading up the remaining 27, shooting 20 of them. Maybe that's what I should do. Maybe like a 10-shot group at 100, and then a 10-shot group at 300, right? Maybe that would be worthwhile, or maybe just a 20-shot group at 300 yards, right? I don't know. And then I'll have 33 of these guys loaded up. We could just do something similar with that, right? Where maybe I shoot 3 10-shot groups, right? I could do a 10-shot group at 100, 10-shot at 200, 10-shot at 300, and just see what it looks like, right? Because again, these are pulled bullets, but these shot really, really well at 100 and 300 yards, even being pulled bullets. Really good hunting option, I think, right? Fusion bullet, the Federal Fusion is a really good hunting bullet, and this is the tipped version. So I might do that, and then that way I could put 3 aside. So I'd have 3 of those put aside, and I'd have 7 of these put aside. That would be my quantity of 10 that I've talked about in previous videos, kind of loading up 10 for hunting and setting those to the side, and then having 50 pieces of brass moving forward to mess around with other combinations, right? That sounds like a really good idea to me. Oh, I did get in the Lee case length gauge for the trimmer, the little trimmer adapter that I have on my Lyman Case Prep Express. So my plan on these next videos, these follow-on videos, is probably to do more of a I'm thinking about maybe doing a step-by-step process on the reloading part of the house. It's funny, somebody made a comment, they're like, dude, you never show any reloading stuff, you just show results. It's like, wait, yeah, because there's so many other channels that do a way better job of displaying the actual reloading part of making ammunition, like Johnny's Reloading Bench. Like, go watch his stuff if you really want more in-depth on like the reloading process itself. And another thing too, reloading in general is a very individualized hobby, in my opinion, right? Like, your setup is not going to be the same as my setup. It's not going to be the same as somebody else's setup. It comes down to, you got to find what works for you and what you think should be your process, what yields the best results for you, because what I do is probably not going to be what you do, right? But with that being said, I could definitely maybe show, hey, this is how I do my brass prep in terms of, once I decap it, because that'll be the plan. I will decap it on my press using this Lee universal decapping die. Once I do that, I'll wet tumble it, which of course you guys definitely ain't gonna show a video on decapping and wet tumbling. Like, talk about boring. From there though, I could just show, hey, this is how I do my full length resize, and then chamfer, deburr, trim, blah, 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 yada, 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 so on and so forth, right? That stuff's pretty straightforward. I don't know, maybe it's just me, because my process is so simple. I really don't think you're gonna glean anything from like, oh man, like talk about an insanely neat little technique or trick, like, man, I never thought of that. Guys, my process is mind-numbingly simple, okay? Seriously, you will probably not glean any insights or any, new ideas or, radical changes that you could then go implement in your reloading process. Fairly certain that's not going to happen when you watch my channel. Really, all I'm doing is bringing you guys along on my reloading hobby journey, right? That's essentially what I'm doing. It's just that. It's my hobby. I grab my phone, I start to film, I bring you guys along. If you watch, that's great. If you don't, that's great too. God bless you, right? So that's it. That's where we're going to leave it. Hope you guys have enjoyed it, because I really feel like the results matter, right? Like the in-between stuff, to be honest with you, I care about the results, right? what did we see on target? That's what I care about. And I think you guys do too, right? I think most of you kind of get that gist, right? Of I'm trying to bring you guys different bullet powder combinations in cartridges that I own, that I like to shoot, that I like to reload for, and it might be something worth exploring for you, right? If you have that same set of components. It's just, yeah, that's kind of the whole point. So, but that's it. That's where we're going to leave it. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm about to go squirrel hunting. So y'all have a good one. We'll catch you next time.